What's going on, family? This is Manuel Godoy, your boy, coming in from Black Sands. And today is a special day because we're going to be talking with Carl Reed. Right now, he just got some technical issues, man, but he's going to be on here pretty soon. We're just having some connections, connection issues. It's all good. He'll be on here in a second, regardless of what happens. He'll be on here. So, in the meantime, what state are you checking in from? What state? Let me know in the comment section. All right, I'm in Delaware, baby, but I'm a New Yorker, born and raised. Let's do it, man. I love it, man. I'm so excited about this, man. This is one of the coolest interviews we're ever going to hold. Real talk, like one of the coolest interviews we're ever going to do. Let me see if we can get him on the screen. Carl Reed. We might have connection issues though, man. If we do, we'll have to get him to log in from the phone. Sometimes these screens be bugging, man. Let's see here. Somebody said they wanted to be blocked from the chat. There he is. Is it Chev? Yeah, Chev said he wanted to be blocked. Got you. I got you, Chev. See you later, buddy. Yo, California's in the house. Arlington, Texas, but originally from New York. What up, LinkedIn? Appreciate you. The entire world is here, bro. Yo, it's a big deal, man. We got this. We got this, man. We just waiting on Carl just because he got some connection issues. It's just not loading up right. So we're trying to get him on here real quick. But push come to shove, we'll go mobile, right? Not a problem. Just get on mobile instead. And it should work that way. Either way, we're gonna have a dope conversation today about the anime, right? We're gonna be talking about the anime, the real deal, man. Multi-million-dollar anime deal for us, by us, 50-50 partners, right? We're going to make an amazing production together. We're going to have some of the best voice actors in the world working on Black Sands. It's going to be animated by Koreans, right? So it's going to be a real anime. It's just going to be good, man. We're going to have a great time. So we're just waiting on that. Once he gets in here, we're good to go. In the meantime, if you're here right now and you haven't invested in Black Sands and you're looking for an opportunity, right, you can go and do that right now while waiting, right? So here you go. The link's right there. WeFunder.com/Black Sands Entertainment. So if you're not one of those card carrying members, you probably should be. You probably should be. Grab your stock. So we're free to ask questions, right? Yes, at the end. At the end, you can ask as many questions as you want. All right. So once we're done with the traditional conversation, we'll eventually go into that as well. No, we can't see you, boss. Listen, North Cali, what's up? The hieroglyph editions. So how are the prints of the books coming, the hieroglyph editions? So until we do chapter 17, then we won't be able to. So let's go ahead. Let me see if I can use a different link. Let me go ahead and get the link for this real quick. Comments. I really want to add this guy. Invite. Let's copy this. Yeah, we got to do chapter 17. So we're at chapter 15 right now. I think we're in the middle of 15. So since we're in the middle of 15, we're moving forward as fast as possible. But we got to finish the series before we can print the anniversary editions. So that's what we're kind of doing right now. That should work. If you have questions right now, that's more for me, like not for both of us, but for me, we can do that. Hey, it worked.
Hey,
What
technical
the heck?
difficulties. I apologize.
Oh, good, man. You know, well, no, technology is bull crap anyway,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I was about to replace you with the Carl Reed AI.
Hey, gotta level up somehow.
It's all good. So, first of all, for everybody that's here, this is a historic meeting because Black Sands is really about to be made for real. This ain't no fake news, ain't nothing like that. Carl Reed is literally a veteran in this space. He's been doing animation for what, 13 years now or something? What the heck? How long has it been?
Uh, almost. Oof. Almost. In a few years, it'll be 20 years.
20 years. God.
Yep.
Yeah. And you winning them awards too. So that's always a good thing to put on a resume, right? But first, before I begin, a lot of people just don't know entertainment like that. So they don't really know Carl Reed. So please give yourself an introduction to all my investors and supporters and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm Carl Reed. Started out as a lowly artist in the grind, drawing everything, and then moved up the ranks to I opened a marketing agency. Then later went on to want to get some broadcast animation under my belt. So moved out to LA and started working in the animation production studio. Did that for a bunch of years, and then moved back to St. Louis to start a company called Lion Forge with my partner David Stewart, and that was Lion Forge Comics. And then we later spun off Lion Forge Animation, and then just recently in I guess it's February now, I announced that Composition Media exists, and so far so good. We have about 4 films in production. Um, we have several TV shows in production, and we're just excited to have Black Sands to add to that slate.
Amazing, 100%. And you know me, guys. I've always wanted to do anime forever, but I was holding the line. I was making sure that I didn't give away too much. I didn't want to throw away my future, right, by trying to get that show out there. So when Carl came to me, Carl understood that at the end of the day, it's all about ownership, right? So he wants to own too. You don't want to be that cog in the wheel making the big Hollywood engine run, right? He wants to be an owner. And I believe when you created Composition Media, it was for that purpose, right? To have more creative control, to have more, actual say on exactly what the property is going to do and the longevity of it.
Somewhat. The tides of entertainment are changing, and nowadays it's a little more democratic in that we can have ownership. Whereas, if you wanted to have your project be a substantial size, you're giving up all your rights to a broadcaster or a streamer, and then you have little say into ultimately what happens to your brand. And with things that a traditional broadcaster or streamer may not get until they see it, you don't want that to happen. You want to have enough control so that you can keep that authenticity.
For sure, 100%. Now, as far as Black Sands is concerned, right? You said right now we're 50-50 partners, right? And I expect my investors, that's you guys in the comment section and stuff, to be able to match him, right? Carl Reed is coming in first. He's coming in hard. He has his own investors, and they're going into Black Sands immediately to go and start developing and then producing and directing this production immediately. We got to come in on the back side. We, as the Black Sands community, has to be able to fulfill the other half. Why? Because we want half the money, damn it. Right? It's not like he can't fund the whole thing. He can. But we negotiated specifically for you guys to be able to get half of the proceeds, just like that's the way things should be. If you're equal partners, if you're bringing both people are bringing the same thing to the table, right? Then you do have the longevity over a production, and you won't get you won't end up like who's a great example of this? You know, why can't I even think of his name now? It's kind of weird. You know, my man
We're
from Marvel, man. I can't even think of his name now.
Stanley.
Yeah, Stan Lee, man. I don't know why I couldn't think of Stan Lee. I just talked about him earlier today. But you know, Stan Lee, he was worth 40 million by the time he was done. By the time he was done, and Marvel was worth like 15 billion. You know, it's like how do you make this stuff and then you don't even own 1% of the final slice of the pie, man. So that's what me and Carl Reed are trying to do right here. Is that we're trying to own a substantial portion of the final pie when we get into the billions. You know what I mean? And I feel like we're going to be able to do it. Carl, what is the plan?
Well, so let me comment on what you just said first. The way media and specifically animation and film is and TV is funded is you have the producers and then you have financiers. And every outside financier you bring in, you're giving away a chunk. You're giving away a piece of control. You're giving away a piece of ownership. And so I think what I've admired about Manuel, what I've admired about Black Sands is that you guys have been able to kind of do something pretty revolutionary and keep that control in the hands of the people. Now, into the fun stuff, what are the plans? We are really going to hit it hard and we're going to approach it a bit different. We want to get content out as fast as possible while
Mhm.
not sacrificing quality, while not sacrificing, how good this show can be. And so we're formatting it in a pretty special way. We're going to start with a mini series
Or movie,
however you want to
however they slice it, right?
call it.
However they slice
We're
it.
starting with a movie that then spins off into a 10 episode first season. And then we'll have another movie right after that. And then we'll have a 10 episode second season.
Yeah, and I believe that is very similar to Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer
Absolutely.
does this. They throw a movie between the seasons every time. And it's a smart model. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not making as much content, right? You're filling that gap if you need time to go and finish the second half of a season or a second season. There's a gap there, and you don't want the gap to be too damn long, right?
Well, what I really hate about I get into an anime and I love it. And, the first season comes out and I'm like, oh, I finished that season. I'm like, I want more. And then I have to wait 4 years. So that's not what
That's
we
what happened with Attack on Titans.
Exactly.
Attack on Titans, it was like 6 years before season 2 dropped. It was
And
crazy.
then you wind up reading and advancing the manga. And then you're like, now I'm too far now and messed up the show. So
now one thing I really want to talk about is capacity. All right. So that's one of your, I guess, what you would call your besides the fact that you have very high profile like Rolodex, like your Rolodex is deep, right? Because you're in Lion Forge, you're at the very top of Lion Forge for like God knows how long, right? So you have a hardcore Rolodex, but capacity wise, you have a lot of animators all around the world that work for you.
absolutely.
So what's the game plan on that? How is Black Sands going to actually be animated and by who?
Yeah. So, as we approach some of the early stages of development, we're going to figure out more details, but here's some insight into the early plan. We want this to be as authentic as the original comic is. We want this to be an authentic anime as well.
Mhm.
And so we're going to have teams that have worked on some of you guys' favorite animes. And specifically, we're seeking to assign a few specific directors we have in mind.
Okay.
That definitely has that cred. And with that in mind, we want this to be everything uh, that we discussed earlier, right?
Mhm.
And so, our teams extend everywhere from Argentina to Southeast Asia to Korea to Japan to right here in St. Louis, Missouri to LA. And it's a it's kind of a worldwide operation nowadays, and pretty much every animation is nowadays. But ours is a little more special because the way we operate is a lot of those teams are exclusive to us.
Mhm.
So we're able to kind of, you know, control the process throughout. We're not tossing an episode here and waiting until it's done to give notes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool too. And one thing is, I'm about to run out there to Korea in a second anyway to go and talk to some people, right? He said,
absolutely.
what kind of meetings are you going to set me up, Carl? Who am I going to be talking to out there?
So we're getting started. I think some of the like we have a ton of friends out there in South Korea, and there's some amazing studios off the top of my
I'm
head.
not, before he even says anything, I am not going there to secure a deal with any of the
No, no,
studios
no,
he's
no, no, no,
talking
no.
about. I'm just talking to him. I'm
Right.
being like, yo, my boy Carl Reed sent me by and time to show me the whole studio. But we ain't making, they ain't gonna make the show. Not some of these people have a wait list.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like some of my you know favorite friends out there are studios like Studio Mir or Moss Tapes or you know um, Happy Up. These folks, you know, just chef's kisses, right? And so we'll see what we can set up, and hopefully you get to kind of see behind the curtain.
Yeah, I just want to go, man. I just want to go and just be that dude that walked in there, man, talking about, yo, what's up? Y'all heard of Black Sands? You finna find out.
I mean, and a lot of them are like, you know, old school. You'll see the pegboards and the paper flipping up.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
one thing is because they office people, man, they didn't give that up. They did not give that up like everybody else in the West. Like there ain't nobody in office anymore. But back in the day, I mean, like they don't let traditions die easy in the East. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about what's gonna happen. I just want to be in there and just walk around, man, and talk to people, see how they operate. I just think it'll be so freaking cool. You know. So a question I know everybody came up with, and they're gonna be able to ask questions as well in
Okay.
the end. But a question that came up is how close is it going to be to the actual comic books? Is it going to be a completely different story or whatnot? I know we already talked about this, but uh, uh, what is your understanding of how you want it to be done?
You know, whenever, particularly from my perspective, and we haven't done the work yet to see how close, but from my perspective, I think every new piece of media based on something, every adaptation needs to not only stay true to the source material, but it needs to add a new experience. I was just talking about reading ahead through the manga because I was waiting on Attack on Titan's new season. So
Yeah,
what we want to do is we want to give you everything that you loved about the original, about the comics, and then pepper some kind of new goodies inside too to
yeah, one
kind of
hundred percent.
surprise you. Now that doesn't mean we're going to change anything. Doesn't mean that anything is going to change, but it needs to be another experience. Otherwise, you read the comic. Why do you need to watch it?
Yeah, 100%. Me personally, I think my plan of action, right, on the creative side is to those things that we allude to, those things that we bring in like 2 or 3 panels and some quick little memory, right? Those are full-fledged scenes. Those are
Mm.
full-fledged things that you just won't see in the comics because we just didn't have time to do it. Right. It's like we're trying to run through this comic as fast as possible so we don't flesh these things out. But when you have 24-minute episodes, you got a lot of time to go and work on exploring new things. I mean, I ain't trying to be Vinland Saga slow, but I am trying to right. But I try to be, I want to flesh things out a bit.
You don't want any 6 episode fights?
No, no. Honestly, I don't like 6, 10 episode fights, right? And I don't like 10 episode dialogue either, where it's like the same thing for 10 episodes, the gradual change. I like things being like 2 to 3 episodes max on any situation, and then we have to change the scene. That's just the way I write things. I don't know if anybody else is that way, but I just feel like it's not wise to basically dedicate almost an entire season to one battle. right? I don't know. That's
I mean,
me.
to me, that battle has to be impressive to dedicate a whole season to it.
Well, like Dragon Ball, man, 26 episodes to
Yeah,
fight Frieza.
exactly. And half of the episodes, you sitting there talking about, I need power. I need
Yep.
power.
Half the episodes was the last 5 minutes.
Exactly.
We got 5 minutes left. Oh man, it's crazy. One other thing that I want to talk about. Other project that you're working on. I know Yanu's basically kind of close to us. Are you on that production or not?
Yeah, I'm executive producing it.
Okay.
That was one of the last projects
With
that,
Mind Forge, right?
yeah, exactly. Before I kind of shifted over to composition, but it shouldn't be close at all.
Okay.
Shouldn't be close at all. One misconception that I really dislike is that people start to see, okay, it's Black characters, it's anime inspired, it takes place on Africa, the largest continent and landmass in the world, but it's the same. Like, I mean, thousands of years away from each other, and fantasy versus historical mythology kind of centered. Like, these things couldn't be farther. That's like looking at animation as a genre instead of a medium. Like, that's like saying Naruto or Naruto. My son gets on me because I'm an old man and
I
I'm
know. I don't give a damn what anybody says about
Exactly.
pronunciation. I'm not Japanese.
But that's like saying Naruto is the exact same thing as Sailor Moon. It's the same thing because it's anime. So, I feel like it's a whole lot of Black people in this world. It's a whole lot of history in this world, especially coming from the continent. And
you know what else I think? I also think this is true as well, is that anime, right? It's more mature. Like the West, if it's animated, it has to be for kids. Like 99% of all animation, it has to be for little tiny kids.
Exactly.
There's no in between. There's no teenage like content or YA content. It's just kids.
You have to
Meanwhile,
understand though, these buyers, they want a win, and if they're looking at, it's a self-perpetuating cycle. If all that's worked because is kid animation, because that's the majority of what comes out. So if you don't make more, then there won't be that many successes in history. So it's a self-perpetuating cycle. Yeah. So it needs outliers, and that's exactly why composition exists, because we don't have to follow those rules, right?
Real talk, man. We ain't trying to follow no damn rules, man. I told everybody a long time ago, Black Sands is going to be aged up in the show, right? So we're looking at teens YA. Think of it like I would say the closest comp would be Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. People die all the time in Lord of the Rings. You might not see blood splatters all over the place and guts falling out of people's bellies, right? But there's some horrifying stuff in in Lord of the Rings every now and then. There's some really mature things in but kids can watch it.
In other places like France, Japan, some of these shows that we as adults are watching are intended for kids, but they just don't treat kids as if they don't understand, drama or intense situations. So, I mean, it's perfect. I think it'll be perfectly appropriate for kids. If my son, he was 6 years old, and he's like, Naruto. He used to get mad, and he didn't have a curse word, and so he just go, and I used to be like, okay. He's 6 years old, loves this stuff, almost on the verge of tears when someone's dying. They understand this content. Yeah. And I did as a kid. I read all the Chronicles of Narnia and Lord of the Rings, like all of those when I was like 7 or 8. And I loved them. And, it had gruesome blood and guts. And, I was looking for that.
Me personally.
Nowadays, they take anything fun out.
Yeah, me 100%. Like, one of these missions I'm gonna do in the next year or so is definitely go to create Games Workshop over there in Britain,
Mhm.
I don't know where they are in Britain. I think they're in Ireland or something. But Games Workshop, man, that 40K universe and that Warhammer universe, it's one of the best. It's one of the best, closest ideas to what Black Sands could be
Mhm.
out of like everything. 'Cause they own everything. Like they didn't give up none of their rights ever, right? And played the long game, and now they're like what, $300 million company or something like that.
That's it.
But they own it. You know, it's like, ain't nobody telling them what to do for nothing. You know, and I feel like that's what we could all do here. You know, you
Right.
know,
You know, that's that's a good example of what I was saying earlier. You know, every different experience should add something to it. If you're playing a tabletop Black Sands, that needs to get you deeper into the material you love. It needs to add depth to the history. It needs to show you a side of characters that you either hadn't seen or saw a glimpse of and you want to see more of.
mhm.
Like every one of those different mediums are a different opportunity. So I'm glad you brought that up because you know comics, tabletops, gaming, anime,
Yo,
toys, all of that. All
Games
of that.
Workshop is like the best, right? And when they make a new board game or they add a new set or a new faction or whatever, there's a big ass book that comes with it.
Mhm.
Like it's like a 200-page guide
Yeah,
to the board game. There's no way you don't need that much. They're gonna give you that much information because they know that everybody cares about the lore more than anything. You know,
true.
and I hope that's what Black Sands brings to our community is that this idea of the content creators, right? The content people who make YouTube videos and everything else, they have infinite amount of stuff to talk about. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to tell you, as you know, as someone who has published comics for a long time, again, animation, comics, and gaming and tabletop gaming, they are so tangentially aligned. They're so intersected, and they are really passionate fans. They will let you know if you're veering around the edge. They will debate you back, and I'm telling you, we there's some good continuity. We would make sure that we're not breaking our mythology. But if you do, if you even get near or hey, he wouldn't have done that. You're gonna have a letter. You're gonna see somebody at a Comic-Con. You're gonna get an email. You're gonna be on social media.
I'd rather have that personally. I'd rather have that
Exactly. That's love.
than what I
That is
normally
love.
have to deal with. Right? I get criticisms for stupid stuff. Characters are too manly. I don't know what the hell's going on. So I'd rather have this character didn't do the thing that I expected them. I'm like, good. At least you read the
Do you
damn
say that in
book.
real life?
Oh, they say it all the time,
He's,
man. I get attacked
he's too
nonstop
manly.
for
I know.
being too
Right.
masculine or
I've
something
literally
like that.
in real life like
Asar don't cry enough.
he's
I
too
said,
manly.
he says he's a prince. He has a job.
And some people are more masculine.
Yeah.
Not,
But, you know, I ain't trying
is
to
that
study
not
that
true?
right there, man. People are funny, man. So yes, I will 100% trade the trolling of me being too masculine to I was inaccurate in a part of my book. Right, I would love those ones. That'll help. That actually helps me too, because sometimes I do miss things. Right,
Exactly.
sometimes you miss stuff. Right, and you can
Yep.
always fix it later. Right, what they do? They fix some animations or they fix some scenes in the DVD. Right, the
Well,
show they didn't have time to fix it, but the DVD it got fixed.
you talking about the Justice League director's cut?
Oh, I don't know, just anybody in general. They tend to like once they hear from the fans, they go and like add a couple of changes before the final
Exactly.
release. So I like that. Hey, let's open it up to the fans. Let's have them start asking questions as well. So I'm opening it up to you guys now. Feel free to leave questions in the comment section. We'll answer them for a couple minutes, and then I gotta let Carl Reed do everything else that he's doing. How many movies are you currently producing right now?
So just in production, we have three in production and one in early production, but let's call it three right now. And then that's just in production. So in the queue, I mean, we're busy.
Yeah, man. Too much work, man. Too much work. Let's see. Well, that's an interesting first question. So let's start with that. Original soundtrack. I know you said you want to do some dope stuff with that. So
Yeah.
what are your random ideas on this? Because I am 100% no fucking clue. That's me. That's my answer. So
You know, again, it's a little too early to give a definitive answer, but I think that music defines a series. I think that the what would be the effects and composition
Mhm.
defines a series, and so we'll figure out what this fingerprint is, and we're hoping to add even more fun folks to the playground, especially on the composer and music director side, because that's an entire. If you get the right voice on a project, and also people don't understand how much music and sound effects and sound design is in animation. It's I would say it's half as important as the motion. You
Oh
can
yeah.
you can have a sound uh, that plays that describes an action off scene, and you haven't animated anything, and you feel somebody's head getting crushed, or you feel someone on the side crying and their heart getting broken. So, and then that dramatic tone and the pacing, I mean, just know that on the soundtrack side of things, we're going to pay a lot of attention to it, and hopefully do some good justice to the series.
Okay, that's definitely for sure. I'm a big me and my kids. We would listen to Attack on Titans, start driving places. Right, we just listen to this OST on YouTube and stuff like that. So we know what it means, man. Some music just changes the world, man. When you hear certain songs,
Yeah.
the vibe just is there, man. Timeline for the anime. You have this actually mapped out pretty clearly. So
Yeah, we like I said for the first piece, this movie, let's call it movie in air quotes. This movie, we're really trying to get this out as soon as possible. So we don't want to go 2 years without dropping some content. And so while I'm not going to say it'll be out in January or it'll be out in March, right? We haven't gotten to that point, but we're not going to be 2-3 years down the line before you guys see some finished product.
got you 100%. So let's say 12 months then, huh? 12 months to see to see an episode or something like that.
Well, I mean, if we're starting with the film, you know, we're going to see all of that.
All
So
that.
we wouldn't necessarily call that an episode necessarily. It might be 3 episodes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That sounds right. So about 12 to 16 months, you're gonna see a
It,
mini
it
movie.
wouldn't be longer than 18 months.
Okay. It wouldn't be longer than 18 months, guys. Okay. Let's see here.
And
I'm gonna make a TikTok page for it. So no matter what, I'm gonna be behind the scenes. I'm gonna show a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I'm gonna request it
might
from
be
the
good to set up a few more private type lives where we tap in and kind of share some exclusive kind of behind the scenes stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely, man. For our patrons, our investors, and stuff like
Yeah.
that, the people who plan on investing into the anime when we do our campaign on that. For anybody who wants to invest in Black Sands anime specifically for profit sharing, that's going to be 6 to 8 months from now. Okay, so just keep an eye on that, I guess. But that's basically when it's going to happen. All right, and we're going to raise $1 to $1.5 million, something like that. All right, so that's just keep an eye on that. If you're if you're thinking about it, that's what you need to be looking for. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Do you have a cat? Is there a casting path with you guys, or is this more of an outside agency thing? Because most of the time it's an outside agency thing. So I don't know.
Well, what I will tell you is we've had just so much luck with just having folks have love for the content that we create,
Mhm.
love the ideas, and really understand where we're taking things, because we're coming from, just like Black Sands, we're coming from a space of authenticity. And if people are hungry for it and not seeing it, we're getting people ring us up. And it's like, we want to be a part of that. And these are exciting, fun people that, we have a short list. We have some people that we're excited about. And I think once we have them locked in, we just want it to be as special as possible. With that said, it's a series, and so we don't want to chalk it full of celebrity voices just to voices, right? But we will definitely have some friends and folks like that who are really excited about the show be a part of it.
Yeah, we got missions. Everybody knows my missions, so there's no mystery about who the hell I want to get cast into the show.
I have a whole list, so we can make some calls.
Yeah. Let's see. Will Manuel be directing the movie part of Black Sands? I'm not a director, so I don't have any experience in that or anything. Right. With that being said, I'm gonna be walking around with the animation Bible saying this character will not do as you said he would. Right. Like I'm gonna be George Lucas on the set. George Lucas ain't making the movie, but he is checking people. Like, look, that's not how a Jedi holds his sword, right? Or so, he just walking around checking people, right? So that's gonna be like me. I'm just gonna be like every now and then I'm gonna be like, yo, in the early stages before they start actually like finishing up, like doing their frames and stuff. Like I'm gonna be checking them then early. Like we need to going back to the drawing board on that one right there because that's not how he fights, or that's not how he does this, or that's not how he would react, right, or whatever, right? And I'm just checking that stuff. I'm also going to be very involved in the original writing, right? So the original story, the original, like before it gets sent off to the writer that actually writes the entire season, I'm going to basically make that framework, right? And all the characters and the relationships between them and the politics of the nations, all that stuff, right? So I'm
And
involved. I'm just not the guy directly in charge at the end, right? I'm more in the beginning guy.
And it's definitely team sports here. There's a ton of episodes, so no one person does anything really. But having a view of the entire production, I think, is more important for Manuel.
Gotcha. Hey, this is a weird question, so maybe you can answer it because I don't really get it. Is it a partnership as companies or just partnership on projects? I don't understand the difference, but by all means, explain the partnership. I don't get.
So basically, um, you know, the series is composition and Black Sands Entertainment production.
Mhm.
And so we'll be lockstep every piece of the way. We've already started talking about other projects that we want to do.
Yep.
And so if that answers your question, like it shouldn't be the only. We fully expect this to be as successful uh, uh, as we plan. And why stop there? We'll continue this
Yeah.
series, and we'll dive in deeper into places that maybe hasn't been explored yet.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, at the end of the day, we might be doing live actions together, right? I mean, at the end of the day, right? If you got there's but so many animators you can deploy. So
Mhm.
so eventually you're gonna have to be like, yo, let's make a real movie. That way we can like still make content if it's selling, right? The thing about it is if it's selling, if Black Sand sells, most likely there's gonna be other series signed immediately because Black Sands is out there now. Black Sands has been sold, right? And as a result, there is now more demand, right? More demand means more product.
Let
So
me tell you. Like it's not a if. It's not a if. Black Sands has things going for it that other projects just don't have going for it.
what are those things?
It has pre-existing content and mythos that people have formed an attachment to. So it's not like I'm saying, come see, Chocolate Sands. You never heard of it, but it's kind of like something you've seen, right? Also, it's current, and it fills a spot where there's a huge demand for content that is not being fulfilled. Folks don't understand how much, uh, uh, you know, Black characters, Black voices, even minority voices, uh, you know, and people want to see um, more content with different people, right? And
Yeah.
hungry for it, to the point where there's content that won't be half as good as this that come out, and it's gobbled up, right? So it has a ton of uh, benefits already, and I would like it's ours to mess up, which is always a good situation,
Yeah, and I ain't messing up nothing. I
right?
know what the hell I'm doing. I am a fantasy guy, all right? And so if you're wondering what the hell we're doing, it's literally like Lord of the Rings, all right? It's a little less fantasy, but definitely has the vibe of Lord of the Rings. That's the kind of built universe that we're building here. Let's see here as well. Let's see. This is a question. I don't think it's like like a question that kind of makes sense. We're not on any specific network, right? We're gonna be looking for bids. So we're making the show no matter what, and it's gonna be sent out there into the market, and then and then we'll sell the show, right? That's how it works.
And more than likely, you'll already have the service. Like, you don't have to buy a separate, you know, app to view it.
Yeah.
It's just a little early to see what that will be.
Let's see here. Let's see. There's some projects that Carl has done that I can tap into now. Hey, any shows you've made or anything like that that you've made that they can watch right now?
There are some that I just am super proud of, right?
Okay.
Of course, Hair Love, we won the Academy Award for it. And, you know, I got a daughter. And so that's near and dear to my heart. Another thing that really shows kind of not being afraid to do something new is Rise Up, Sing Out on Disney Plus. That is, some of the things that happen on those episodes just normally wouldn't happen. So those are two. I think we have, let me see what other ones would be indicative of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, this is more like a kind of pioneering, right? The whole adventure, older series and stuff. Most of the time, it was
Yeah,
stuff
we
that was
we
younger,
have
right?
we have a few projects that are, you mentioned one, but we have a few that are in the later stages of production that kind of target that same audience,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not finished yet.
Got you. All right. So as far as comps that are very similar to Black Sands, those aren't finished yet. They're already in late production, but they're not finished yet. And the ones that are out there right now are most likely like kid shows and stuff like that,
Yeah,
or productions that are much younger,
majority
right?
kid shows.
Because
Yeah,
literally
all of
99%
them
of
are
all
kids
animation
shows.
in America is for little kids. It's like that's just the way it is, man. That's the market. That's the market that we're in because we don't have Americans don't have creativity. I'll just say that. Right? We don't believe in other markets. It's like, oh, I see manga's trending in America. Better not make any manga, right? It's like,
You know, and another thing, you talk about to get a feel. We're not going to just leave you guys high and dry. As this thing is developing, we have to do animation tests to develop that feel. We have to do all of that, and so each show, each series has a different look, a different feel. Each film, and so we'll share that as it goes along.
and I think we were going to do a Kickstarter early. I believe that was in the plan. We're going to do something to get it out there early, right? Just to like get the vibe going.
Right,
Uh,
and it's not necessarily. Some people misunderstand the purpose of a Kickstarter, right?
yeah,
True, it'll bring in additional revenue or budget, which makes things easier. But the true reason is to build that
awareness.
anticipation, that awareness, that excitement, and really show who is committed to it. So if people are really committed to it, and it's even more demand than we thought, then why not lean more into what we're doing. Why not, instead of doing a 10 episode series, okay, this is bigger than we thought. Let's make that 13 for that first drop. Let's
Yeah.
So it really affects what we do. And but
And the Kickstarter is not to fund it.
right.
We're funding it, so it's not a
Exactly.
problem. The Kickstarter is the things that we're going to provide most likely is some kind of board game, right? Some kind of board game based on the series, and also the actual like the book. So you know how you have like your concept book,
Mhm.
your all the stuff in development that gets made for Black Sands that eventually turns into the show, that turns into the actual season. Those visuals, the inside knowledge, all that stuff. That's going to be a big giant book that people are going to be getting through the Kickstarter. That's amazing as far as access is concerned, right? You actually get to see from the inside what the hell's going on in a major studio production, right? This is just stuff that you normally wouldn't see, and you'll be able to get it on that Kickstarter campaign, I believe. It's just gonna be really cool, exclusive stuff. Let's see here. This is a personal question for me, so let me answer this one. Why does Tahuti not like being referred to as Noon? Does he hate his past self? He doesn't hate his past self. So this is, first of all, if y'all ain't read Black Sands, that is gonna be kind of a spoiler for you, even though it doesn't really change much because I've done the back episodes as well. But Noon, right? He's the creator of all the gods, ancients and the god killers, right? And Tahuti is Noon, right? But Tahuti was born through Ra, basically like taking his power and then releasing it again. So Noon is actually human, not ancient anymore. He's a human, right? Tahuti. And as such, he kind of wants to like differentiate himself. He doesn't have the same he doesn't have the same mental outlook on things. He actually married, right? So he's married and everything else. So he's very normal now compared to before, where he was basically like a mad god scientist, right? So he just doesn't like being referred to as Noon anymore. He doesn't have that responsibility to rule everyone, and thus he doesn't want to be known as that. You know what I mean? So that's why he doesn't like it when people call him Noon. Let's see. Will weather play into the anime? Yeah, of course. I'm a military man. I'm a military guy. So I do think of the weather whenever I look at any kind of situation. I'll never have it raining and then people not slipping and falling and it's weird when you see that. Sometimes people like they'll have something, but it's completely meaningless to the actual situation. Everything still works exactly according to plan, even though I like it where if it's raining, that's a problem for someone. Someone's having a bad day because it's raining, right? Or something like that. So yeah.
Well, and
Uh,
also from a dramatic standpoint and storytelling standpoint, it's no better way to up the tension, just like in real life. You go into the post office to drop off a letter. It's just a mundane situation. It's a storm, makes it a little more complicated, and it's the same for drama and storytelling.
yeah, I think we also had that in Black Sands chapter 5. So in Black Sands chapter 5, they were fighting those dragons, right, in the cave. And poison was a very huge problem. Nobody could really breathe, right? So Offset was basically protecting everybody. But anybody who's caught outside the poison was basically paralyzed and eventually killed. Except for Asar, because he's that dude, right? He's been training at the very top of volcanoes. So he knows a thing or two about being able to survive very toxic situations, right? You would almost call him a toxic man, right? Right? but but 100%, like this matters because the whole fight changed because of the element that they were fighting in, right? And that's always a big factor in Black Sands as far as how my combat goes. Combat is tactical. Combat is not the strongest man won. It's not how Black Sands work. There's armies. People get laid out all the time. They get tactically maneuvered out away. So just think about that when you're watching our show. What to expect? Don't expect Dragon Ball level. I'm gonna power up and I'm gonna beat this other guy powered up. That's not how Black Sands works. There needs to be an army to help. Otherwise, no one wins. Let's see. All right, so Carl, just let you know, somebody's getting their money ready now. Let's see. I want to get focused on questions that are specifically for Carl here. Besides, I want to be a voice actor. I think we already covered that one. Let's see. Is the original story based on the current books? Yeah, it's going to be. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're not going to deviate from that too much. Someone says Phil Lamar needs to be in there. He says most likely. So yeah,
Definitely on the list. Definitely on the list. Like Phil Lamar, he covers about 10 characters as a one-man band. Like this guy's a genius.
yeah. He got range. He got range. He
Yeah,
got big range. We gotta get Keith. We gotta get Keith. Everybody know I want a Keith more than anything else.
absolutely, absolutely.
I'm getting Keith. I'm gonna get him somehow, one way or the other. I better not say it too much because he's gonna think he raised the price on me. He's gonna be like, "I know you need me." Let's see. Someone said we need a full documentary on this. It is pretty crazy. It is a crazy story. We definitely do need to document this because this is a first of its kind production for real. Like this is straight up independent, like grassroots, massive fan base behind it, millions of dollars in sales before we even sold a single show. So I don't know, man.
No restriction
Yeah.
on how authentic we can make it, right?
Yeah, we don't have to worry about marketability. I hate that. That's my biggest pet peeve in the world of Hollywood. We got to make sure it's marketable.
Or even worse, we want something new and fresh, but I'm going to refer to everything else that was ever made in order to change the content. So I wanted more like Game of Thrones because that worked, but I wanted new and fresh. How do you do that? So
let's see what else. Let's see. Mask of the Orisha would be a dope anime. It would. There's a lot of IPs on the Black Sands that would be dope, animated, and we will give opportunities to people if the market demands it. Right. At the end of the day, it's like, look, if we go out there and we sell and it gets sold, right? Then you're like, hey, we want Black Sands. Like, well, we already sold it. Damn, I really wanted something like that. Well, we have another property.
Well,
right?
and really, it's about just being smart with the release plan and being wise with how it rolls out. When Black Sands does exactly what we plan, we would be silly not to say, okay, this is working. Let's double down. And before we release the second movie, we'll have something else in production if it's working. If it would be silly not to, and we would have that liberty because we're not waiting on a big broadcaster to give us permission.
That's true. Hey, this is a pretty interesting statement. I like it though. These are going to be some expensive talent to acquire. Is that a reality or is that?
It is a reality. These things are not easy, and that's historically kept people out of being able to do this sort of thing. But I think there's a lot to be said about love, and I've had some folks be a part of some of these productions and say, you know what, I typically would ask this for my participation, but I believe in the vision, and I know this is going to hit. Not only that, it's animation. And animation's a little bit cheaper because you go in the studio for a couple of days and you're not on set.
Yeah, they usually get their work done in like 2 days, right?
Exactly.
2 to 3 days, and that's it. They
might have to do some Zoom reads or something like that, but a couple of days, you're in and out.
Yeah. So we're gonna it's gonna be reasonable, and this is a culture play, man. The more people know about it, the more they're gonna realize this is like a culture play. Like this is really gonna elevate the Black brand around the world because people are gonna finally see Black history before slavery in a technologically advanced, sophisticated way, right? And I just think I think everybody's gonna get on it once they see it. Let's see here. We're about to wrap it up too. We're wrapping it up in 5 minutes, so right at the hour mark, literally. All right. This has been a hell of a meeting, though. Everybody's really excited. It's a ridiculous amount of comments. I can't catch up to the bottom. That's fine. Let's see here. I'm just trying to get to where a question that I haven't answered yet. What will be the minimum investment to get into the animation? In all honesty, I might push this up, right? Just to get it done quick. So I might push it up, right? I might push up the numbers like $500 or something minimum. Normally it's 100. Normally it's 100, but I know this thing is going to be so popular by the time we do get to that campaign, right? That I want to like close it in like one day. so I might force people to get to 500 right off the bat. I'm gonna make a special investor card as well. Just so you guys have some clout, right? Like literal owner of the Black Sands anime. That's gonna be like the card. You know, that's gonna be pretty lit. It's gonna say literal owner of the Black Sands anime, right? It's just gonna be exciting times. It's gonna be so much media coverage before we even get to that point that we should close it out in a day, and we should keep it private. We shouldn't open it up to the world. Our people are in, and that's it. You ain't in, you ain't in. And so that's how we're gonna do it. Who's going to have merchandising rights? So actually, this is a great question. Carl, who has the merchandising rights?
So specifically for, if you consider this Black Sands the anime, right? The merchandising rights is sitting right here, right? I think the way it works is typically, you license particular categories to different manufacturers, and they take those rights. Let's say toys, T-shirts, dolls, etc., and that would get licensed from Black Sands anime entity, right? And there's also an opportunity to do direct to consumer and actually create content that's directly released and brought to retail. So long story short, right now the rights for merchandise specifically for Black Sands the anime would be a part of that entity.
Yeah. So as far as like what's going on, it's whatever's being made based off of the show will be 50-50 composition, and us and whoever the hell else investors are a part of this, including you, right? And then on top of that, we also have what else? Oh yeah, publishing rights are still under the Black Sands, so Black Sands owns all publishing rights, and video games are on kind of a, I don't know, like a scenario basis, because basically, like if it's a video game that's based off stuff that's not in the show, right? Then it's ours. But if it is something directly from the show, it's just like Black Sand season 1 or something directly from the show derivative, then it would be 50-50 because it would be part of the licensing and merchandising of the series.
And so there'll be a specific style guide for the show, and all merchandise would be based on that style guide. So it'll differentiate it from merchandise based on Black Sands comic.
All right, let's see here. Well, Black Sands moved toward 8K. I don't know what that is. It's like 4K, 8K. Is that what he's talking about? Rendering?
Yeah, it's just talking about resolution. I think there's only so at this level. I mean, it's only so much that we can go. Now they're making 32K, right? So I mean, it's only so far. I think we'll stick about 4K without going into planning. It may be part of the plans to do it 8K, but typically, I think it'll stay around 4K.
Okay, let's see. Here's a good personal question directly to you. Yeah, Mr. Reed, I have a few questions. What is your goal for the first season? What drew you to work with Mr. Godoy? Who's your favorite character so far? All right.
Okay, let me start with the first question. I'll say with the first season, there's a few different goals, and in order to make this even popular, right? In order to forget popular, to make this successful, we have to accomplish a few different things. For one thing, we have to make sure that the people that bought the comic, that support Black Sans as a brand, that they're not let down. And so what that means is that it has to be true to the original and add something to the original that surprises and delights those folks, right? And so that's one. Now we also have to create something compelling so that if you have not heard of or not seen Black Sans, then you're going to want to be drawn to it. So the goal is to expand the base, and so we do that through different entry points, right? And so the goal is to kind of expand the mythology, expand the audience base in a natural way. And the third thing is to really do justice to the, especially with the first piece in season 1, do justice to the animated adaptation. So it's not just sticking to the original content. We want it to be a step up and a step forward. And that's really the 3 top goals in my eyes. Of course, we want to be smart, and we want to make season 2 and season 3 and season 4. So there's financial goals. We have to be smart with the budget. We have to be smart with the timeline. We have to be smart with the partnerships. We have to be on top of all of those things. So there's strategic goals at every point. But that I think is has to be evident and part of the plan, period, right? Or why are we?
Otherwise, the investors won't show up.
Yeah, why are we doing it, right? Yeah. So long story long, that's kind of the plan.
Gotcha. And they also want to know why me? Why me of all random people in the world?
I was like, with animation, you have to have a colorful character. And I was like, let's just, why not Manuel? Right? No. In all seriousness, it takes a little bit of grit and a spark to do these sort of things and to do something different and new. And so typically with a project, I have to bring people into that mindset. And it's a little easier here because you guys have already done it with Black Sans, so you understand paving a path and understanding something that other people may not understand until they get it, right? And so that just makes things easier. Not to mention that we're super aligned in what we're doing. We're making content that that changes the paradigm and the existing narrative about Black people, about history, about what is animation, about hopefully about what works worldwide and globally.
Yeah, and one thing I will say is this too. We talked a long time ago. So
Oh yeah, no, we've been talking.
we were talking like
quite
back
a
to
while.
like 2019. Okay,
Exactly.
all right. That's when Lion Forge was. He was still at Lion Forge, right? And they had like a whole council up there deciding whether to take on Black Sans. So it's a very different situation. But we've been talking for a long time. He's definitely been aware of what we've been doing, right? And now that he's independent, he has more authority to act on his own instincts, right? And that's what he did. He don't have to convince 15 people, right? It's his call, and that's always a great thing about being independent, is that you make the decisions. You know what I mean? As far as what we plan to do, yeah, we're definitely going to set things up for the future. That's the goal. Make infinite amount of episodes, seasons, and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. And just dominate the space. Like, in all honesty, I'm a gatekeep like crazy when I make it. Like I want us to be the history before slavery, like Tyler Perry's. Like, we are not letting anybody in. You can go through us. You you can go through us. I want where Disney's scared to make a show like this because they know how everyone's gonna react, because Why didn't you help them then? That's what they're gonna be thinking. They're gonna be like, all these years you avoided the topic. Why you getting into it now since Black Sands is out? So we kind of want to put that energy out there that it's like, hey, we're the guys, we're the ones for this space. Give us the power, give us the funds so we can make more of it, right? And we will get it done properly without any stupid old school agenda that's going on, right? Because we all know them people they're hard headed as hell. They still got that 1990 movie vision of things, right? They're like, they can't adapt. A lot of these cats can't adapt at making decisions,
And the last question, it's going to be a strange answer, right? I was excited to see the Anunnaki.
Okay.
Because I have never seen them represented in media before. And sometimes it purposely maybe. But I was like, okay, this might be something. What is going on? This is Anunnaki in the book.
Yo, we're gonna have a lot of ancient alien theorists as like hardcore fans once they start seeing this. They're gonna start having all types of theories of their own.
Yeah.
Where did he get this preset, bro? I can see it now, man. Hour-long episodes of analyzing episode 3 of Black Sands. They're gonna start pointing out to like ancient like hieroglyphs and everything else. It's gonna be they're gonna deep dive like crazy when they see our show. They might not know too much about it right now, but I guarantee you the ancient alien theorists are gonna go crazy once they actually like watch the show and be like, wait a minute, man. This show is actually amazing.
You gotta drop some Easter eggs.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be a great experience for anybody in the world, right? But we're not focused on everybody in the world. We're focused on Black people. All right. Oh, this is the one thing I wanted to say before we close this out. This is my personal strategy. It might not be Carl Reed's. Hopefully, we'll adopt it in. But I want this simulcasted. I want this simulcasted in at least Portuguese and Japanese. Right, and we don't have to spend a lot of money to get it. We don't have to hire the best actors in the world to do the Japanese version and the Portuguese version, right? But the Japanese one is just so we can get in there, right, with no problems, right? And we want to see if it sticks. Who knows? It might stick, right? It might stick. So let's see if we can get it in there and see if it sticks. What Portuguese 100%. If we could own Brazil, we don't need the East. We don't need the East if we get Brazil. We get the U.S. and Brazil, we're done. We're done. We won. We're $1 billion company, guaranteed. Guaranteed. If we can just dominate Brazil and the U.S., that's like the overwhelming amount of wealthy Black people in the world are in Brazil and the U.S. That's it. That's where all of them are at, concentrated. So if we can get those 2 places, we're done. We really are. And so I want to make sure that Brazil's a major place that we're going after. You know what I mean? Like Brazil's huge to me.
Definitely.
All right. So everybody, that was a nice, long, beautiful interview with Carl Reed. Carl Reed is our new partner, not my new partner. All right. A lot of y'all are investors. So y'all partners too. All right. He's our partner in this. He's gonna be helping us big time. He's gonna be the animation man. Okay, so I ain't gonna be doing nothing on animation. I don't know jack about it. My artist David Lenneman's probably gonna help on concepts, and that's about it. That's about all we doing. But the animation will be done by Carl Reed. Carl Reed's done 1 billion different animations, so it's great for all of us, right? I always believe in working with people who know what the hell they're doing. That way, I don't have to do it. And I think that's very important. That's probably why Carl Reed likes me as a person, is because I am a business owner. I do millions of dollars in sales. I've managed dozens of different teams that make comics, right? And I also help everybody else in the universe. I understand the pros and cons of being in charge and not being in charge and delegating your manpower to do it. You can't do everything. Even if you think you know what's better, you just can't do everything. So you got to just let people who are subject matter experts handle it. And somebody who's never done anything business-wise, but it's a great writer, might not understand how to work with Carl Reed in a major animation production worth millions of dollars. Like, they might be asking for stuff that's impossible.
This is a team sport, and even as good as any one artist is, they're not going to be able to, or writer or animator is, they're not going to be touched. They have to play a very specific role in this, and also be able to kind of work across the full spectrum of the team. So definitely everything you said was right.
And we got to understand the customer, right? Got to know who the hell we're actually selling to, and I know who I'm selling to. So we're gonna get this money together, team.
A lot of people don't understand that if you're trying to make something for everybody, you're making something for nobody.
Exactly.
Making something for a specific audience, that means it's going to be, it's universal themes. So
that's why all those Netflix shows died. They were all black animations with teen and above, and they all flopped because there was literally this need, this necessity to go for everybody in the world to love this series, as opposed to simply just making it for your base and seeing if everybody else likes it. If they do, great, but if they don't, you're still good because your base showed up.
Exactly.
You know? Instead, they lost everyone. So let's not fall for that trick. Let's make sure that we make it amazing for our people, and I'm sure everybody else will love it, just like they love Naruto and Demon Slayer, which is literally, we don't care about the rest of the world. This is the most Japanese show of all time, and you'll still watch it.
And they're sitting there eating ramen, and the buildings are shaped like,
ain't
classic
a single
Japanese
European.
buildings.
Ain't a single European in the whole show. They don't give a damn. It's gonna be good, and that's all you need to worry about. It's gonna be good, and if you like anything about this, you're gonna be a fan instantly. That's it. So, all right. So everybody have a great day. Remember, the scrolling link on the bottom, invest at wefunder.com/Black Sands Entertainment. If you want to be an investor in Black Sands, this is for stock in our company. It's not for the anime, right? However, the company owns the anime, so right. So you're kind of invested in both. It's just you're playing the very long game. If you're investing right now, you're investing in stock. So if we go public one day, you'll be able to get your return on investment. In the meantime, everybody else who's already invested as much as they wanted, and they just waiting for that next round. The investment round for the Black Sands anime will happen in 6 to 8 months, something like that. I'm landing around there, right? And we should have a substantial amount of work done by then. So it ain't gonna be no mystery on whether something's happening or not. You're gonna see major actors and everything else, and directors and stuff probably already hired on by then. All right. So that's it. That's all from me. Carl, you got anything left to say before you bounce?
Hey, I'm just super excited to be a part of it, and I just can't wait to share what we'll do.
Oh yeah, 100%. All right. Peace, family, everybody. Black Sands.
Thanks, everyone.